Welcome to Alpha Team's Ad Hoc Networking Project.
Hello, my name is Alexander, and I'm a member of Alpha Team. Today, I'd like to discuss the topic of ad hoc networks. I'll be talking about the history of ad hoc networks and what an ad hoc network actually is. Ad hoc networks are older than the internet. Their usage goes back to 1969, so before the commercial internet was made available in 1991. In fact, it can be said that packet radio and ad hoc networks are some of the forerunners of the modern internet. There have been at least 3 generations of ad hoc networks so far. Those first radio networks were the first generation. The second generation expanded using Global Mobile Information Systems, or GLOMO, and Near-Term Digital Radio Systems, or NTDS. GLOMO includes satellite coverage, geo-routing, and coverage for wider area networks in order to disseminate information farther and faster, while NTDS systems provide a self-organizing, self-healing network capability from the network management terminals. Lessons learned from the NTDS systems not only improved military communications and radio technology, but helped pave the way for broader civilian applications. The third generation of ad hoc networks were based on notebook computers, radio waves, and wireless signals. 2 important factors in the third generation are Bluetooth, which was created in 1998. Bluetooth uses UHF radio waves in the 2.40 to 2.48 gigahertz radio bands to build a small, personal area network that fits inside of a house. Everything from a front door camera, a headset that connects to a smartphone, a phone sending pictures to a computer, or even keyboards and game controllers can connect into a personal area network that can cover anywhere from less than 10 to a little under 100 meters. These connections form a decentralized, peer-to-peer network where each node sends and receives data from every other node. Now that we know what an ad hoc network is, next we'll be talking about the different types of ad hoc networks.
Hello everyone, my name is Amrapal, and I'm a part of the Alpha team. I'll be talking about the different types of ad hoc networks and some of their uses. So we have mobile ad hoc networks, vehicular ad hoc networks, wireless mesh networks, Army tactical networks, and wireless sensor networks. A mobile ad hoc network can be created from a mobile device like a smartphone, a computer, a tablet, etc. It can be used in a business environment for team members to collaborate and work. It can also be used for devices that don't have internet access to connect to a device that does, so they could surf the web. Vehicular ad hoc networks are surprisingly not too common right now, but I have a strong feeling they will be very popular in the foreseeable future. The way it works is every vehicle creates and joins a network, creating a group of vehicles that are all connected with one another, which in return allows these vehicles to share information like their exact location, the speed they're traveling at, possibly even the lane they're in, to help with autonomous driving. I can also see this type of technology being used for insurance companies to help lower rates for safe drivers or to help isolate reckless drivers. Wireless mesh networks. Each device creates an ad hoc network which connects to another network, essentially creating a chain of devices connected to one another. We could see such networks being used today by utility companies to gather meter data. Basically, this data travels from one device to another until it eventually reaches a central office where these companies can now gather the data wirelessly without having to physically connect cables and can help with billing purposes. Army Tactical Network. The Army's been using ad hoc networks for years now for reasons like fast and easy deployment, fully wireless networks, security, and its range. They use these networks to communicate, like the commander will communicate with its platoon for important information about missions or about meetings or training exercises. It also allows devices within the Army to communicate and securely and quickly send and receive information. Wireless sensor network. Wireless sensor networks are being used around us constantly in the field. They're mainly used with sensors, given by the name, that can send and some even possibly receive data. These sensors enable a lot of freedom and flexibility as far as their placement because they can be placed almost anywhere, like in the middle of a forest, to help detect forest fires based off of temperature, humidity, and other factors. I've seen them personally used in machine shops where the manager would monitor machine health to ensure that the machines are operating smoothly.
In order to keep up with the constantly evolving networking industry, ad hoc networks must be developed to adapt to this change. The proposed adaptation is the vehicular ad hoc network, where vehicles are capable of forming ad hoc networks automatically. This proposed technology would allow a vehicular cloud to be formed and perform various tasks. This can include reading messages for the driver, communicating with other vehicles, and informing the driver of local traffic conditions. This integrates software as a service into the design. Because of this modular approach, the technology behind vehicular cloud can be compatible with new ideas and features not even thought up of yet. Think of a feature, any feature, that you would dream that a car could do for you. It won't be long until that becomes a reality. The things which hold these dreams back are the limitations of the vehicle as we use it today. More specifically, vehicles would need to be self-driving in order to do these tasks well. Although the technology for vehicles to sense the road and other objects has been in development for many years, it has barely taken off in public use. Of course, this isn't all bad. Considering that self-driving vehicles are still being publicly tested, the companies behind autonomous driving technologies could directly team up with networking companies in order to test and implement vehicular ad hoc networks at the same time. Doing so will not only benefit the self-driving company as a secondary means of profit, it also connects the autonomous driving industry with the computer networking industry. Such an implementation would expand our current Internet of Things technologies and lead to further growth and job opportunities.
Although ad hoc networks have many benefits, it is also important to be able to recognize potential security threats in order to efficiently use these types of networks. Like traditional networks, threats can come from multiple network layers in various forms of attacks. Viruses or worms can affect the application layer by duplicating themselves in order to deplete resources and overload the network. The transport layer can be targeted by a DDoS attack, which can render the network unresponsive. In the network layer, black hole attacks are especially popular. In this method of attack, a malicious node will use its routing protocol to trick other nodes into thinking that it is the most direct node in the packet transportation process. Once the node has received all the packets, the information will then be dropped or lost. Using basic traffic analysis or monitoring software, hackers can interfere with the data link layer to view or record network traffic. Finally, in the physical layer, private data can be viewed or even modified by using sniffing software such as Wireshark. Ad hoc networks also lack a clear entry point from outside sources. This means that unlike traditional networks, there isn't a single location that can be used as a security checkpoint. Hackers can target virtually any node connected to the network to initiate an attack. This makes traffic monitoring and access control mechanisms nearly impossible. Additionally, ad hoc networks utilize mostly mobile devices that run off of batteries. This means that an attacker can specifically target these batteries in an attempt to cripple the network. A more popular method to accomplish this is called a sleep deprivation attack. As you can probably imagine, these attacks cause the batteries of mobile devices to drain far faster than normal by preventing the device from entering a hibernation mode or a battery savings mode.
Security protocols. One of the main reasons ad hoc networks are so appealing is due to the decentralized network that they provide. Ad hoc networks are free from network infrastructures, meaning they don't require any routers in order to transmit and receive their information. By this, it brings a different set of vulnerabilities to the network as opposed to a hardwired network. An ad hoc network sends packets from node to node without authentication. This can give attackers the right angle to enter the network and exploit it. Now let's take a look at a couple possible attack vectors, one in which is a passive attack. A passive attack is when the attacker is exploiting your network. They intercept but don't hinder the transmission of data packets within your network that are being transmitted and received. Based on this information that the attackers gather, they can plan future attacks. Another is a wormhole attack. This is when the attacker receives packets at one point in the network and tunnels them to another part of the network and replays them into the network from that point forward. In your free time, I encourage you to check out these other attacks like black hole, sinkhole, and clone ID. Now that we have discussed vulnerabilities, how can we implement countermeasures to protect our network? One of which is an intrusion detection system called Watchdog. Watchdog is a technique that breaks up the packets on the node. It sends part of the packet to A, part of the packet to C. From packet A, it sends the information to packet B to detect if it was a malicious node within the network. It's basically like a secret handshake. If there's a malicious node detected, Watchdog will detect it and isolate that node from the network to protect it.